In this video, I will be covering the irregular verb Fero. The principal parts of Fero are Fero, ferere, chuli, latus, meaning to bring, carry, or bear. It is thought that Fero has quote-unquote borrowed the last two principal parts from another verb. The most difficult tense to learn for Fero is the present. Fero often acts like a third conjugation verb, so it acts a lot like pono. However, in the present tense, it loses some of its stem vowels. You notice it starts with Fero, which is normal, just like pono, but in the second singular, it's just fers. It loses the I. And in the third singular, it's fert, again, no I. Then the stem vowel comes back in ferimus, and then it goes away in fertis, and then it comes back again in ferunt. So it's fero, first, fert, ferimus, fertis, ferunt. In the passive, it follows the same pattern. In the second singular, again it loses its stem vowel, and it's feris. Third singular, no stem vowel, in fertur, and then it comes back in feramer, feramini, and feruntor. For the remaining tenses, Fero acts like a third conjugation, so you have to ask yourself, what would Fero do? In the imperfect, it has the bom, bos, bot, bomus, botus, bont, and the stem vowel is e, just like it would be with pono. Same for the passive. In the future, remember in the third conjugation, to form the future, you change the stem vowel to an a for the first singular, and then it becomes e all the way through. In Fero, for the future tense, the stem vowel doesn't drop like it does in the present, and so it'll just be a, e all the way through. And in the passive, same pattern, but you use your passive endings, your r, your ris, and your tur. And when we get to the perfect system, remember the perfect system is regular for all verbs of all conjugations, regular and irregular. So for the perfect, you just use the third principal part in your perfect endings. For the past perfect, active, third principal part in eram, and then future perfect, third principal part in ero. For the perfect passive system, you take the fourth principal part, latus, and then for the perfect, it's sum, and for the past perfect, it's latus eram, and for the future perfect, it's latus ero. Also, for the subjunctive, it will follow the let's beat a giant. And remember, it acts like a third, so it will have the a. So the a will be the stem vowel for the present subjunctive. And for the imperfect subjunctive, remember all you do is you take the present active infinitive, fere, and add the endings am for the active and r for the passive, and conjugate with the appropriate endings as you go through. Your imperatives, participles, and infinitives. The imperative of Fero is also irregular. The present imperative for the singular is fer, bring, carry, and for the plural it's ferte. Now the infinitives. So the infinitive for the present active is just the second principal part, fere, and to make this passive it's feri. And then after that, the pattern is pretty regular. The perfect active is just the third principal part plus isse and tulu isse. And the passive is the perfect passive participle plus esse, latus esse. And then the future is laturus esse. Making our participles, again, this acts like a third, so it's ferens, ferentis for the present active, and just the fourth principal part for the perfect passive. And for the future active, instead of using us, you use urus for the fourth principal part, and you get laturus.